I'm here with Trav.
I'm wishing this shit had been an anthology all along without him.
Yeah, it is. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Cue the theremin.
Hope you enjoy it. Hope it's a good one. Halloween. Thanos.
So I'll tell you what did happen there was I was muted the entire time. But we just did that intro, but I'll fix it later. Thanos. When you said that last week, the whole time I was watching, I was like, what do you mean by that? Because I kept thinking, what's going to happen now? Thanos, like a snap? Like it's all gone?
Because they had to kill that son of a bitch like 4 fucking different ways to kill him.
Like, I thought she was going to hop in there with him.
They crucified him to the table. They slit his wrist, slit his artery. They threw him in a fucking wood chipper. Like, they had the fucking overkill. When the cop
pulled up, dude, and he was like, they were like, we don't do things like this. And he's like, this ain't protocol. And he's like, tonight it is.
He said, fuck protocol.
They strapped him to the top of a car, and I was like, what are they going to take him to?
They drove him through town. Well, I was expecting somebody to die from that thing because they kept showing it when they cut to the junkyard. People throwing metal and shit, and it was just ripping it apart. I was like, he's going to knock somebody in there. It's going to be fucking gruesome.
Yeah.
It fucked his ass up, though, didn't it?
Yeah. Big time.
I mean, he did.
Yeah. So the spirit lives on.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's been, what, 4 years? There was like a 4-year time jump, right?
Yeah.
Because like that. 2018, the first 2 movies happened in the same night, basically. And then this was in 2022. So yeah. So 4-year time jump. So he got away, crawled into the sewers, and was hanging out in the sewers trying to recover for 4 years. Yeah.
He was eating rats.
Yeah. I don't think he has to eat, right?
I mean, he had that fucking kitchen knife planted like Excalibur, though.
Yeah, right.
What's funny, man, is whenever she came out of the store, she came out of the grocery store and was smiling, and I was like, fuck, she's smiling about? Like, she can't be happy? And then that woman was like, what the fuck you smiling about? And I was like, yeah.
So,
I thought the same thing.
So, like, this movie had the classic third movie problem. It introduced a lot of ideas and concepts that don't really matter because it's the end of the story.
Right.
I think the idea of the boy and kind of getting the eyes of Michael, whatever you want to call it, the getting it or becoming the shape. I would have been okay if that was just a underlying subplot that had been going on throughout the whole trilogy.
Right.
Because it seems now, like in the larger body of work, when you look at the trilogy as a whole now, you've got Halloween, which is Laurie's story. You've got Halloween Kills, which is Michael's story or his perspective. And then you have the third one, which is supposed to be the essence of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that it captured the essence of it. I mean, like, Michael created chaos. Chaos loomed in that city or in that town, and it's not going to go away. Well, I mean, it might now, right? Because Michael's gone, but like, he's a force of nature, and the force of nature, even though it wasn't seen and it hasn't been seen for so long, it was still there. The town had PTSD.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and I mean, I think it tied together with what Laurie Strode says at the very end when she's writing the book. She says, "Fear doesn't something to the effect of evil doesn't die; it changes shape." And I think that encapsulates the Halloween franchise, like now at least.
Right.
And it definitely dots the I, crosses the T of just the pure evil of Michael Myers and how that evil can infect, and how how it obviously took over the mind of the boy.
Yeah. Which
Well, he was
it
already
was,
having a hard go too, man. I mean, I kind
yeah,
of felt
it was
bad for him.
fucked up.
I was like,
Yeah.
And
kill these motherfuckers, you know? You kind of root for him a little, you know? It's like, do it, man.
Yeah.
and in a way, I feel like maybe, I don't know if Green was aiming for this, but it kept the spirit of the third Halloween film, and that it was a Halloween movie, but Michael Myers wasn't really in it.
Right.
I mean, he was, and he was in essence and in spirit, but the actual character, he was maybe in it for all of. I mean, he probably had the same amount of time on screen as Boba Fett did in Empire. Just a couple of minutes, enough to get the point across for some certain things.
Yeah.
And then, the kid went on being, which I will say, his killing spree was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to see the best kill of the movie, in my opinion, is when he takes that DJ and bashes his head over the fucking
He
turntable.
beat the shit out of it and had the tongue on it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it was fucking moving
Hitting
the
the
needle.
needle.
And it was like, ooh.
He gone.
No, and I don't know. They kind of play into a lot of tropes too, right? So like, the idea. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna interject with saying that, like, with tropes, I don't think tropes are necessarily a bad thing.
No.
I think the way that they played in this film wasn't the best by any stretch of the imagination, but it wasn't horrible.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of like the idea of the trilogy in and of itself is a trope, right?
Hmm.
And then you have the first flick, which is, a comeback to form, if you will. And it's a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more familiar to the character and to the story. Then Halloween Kills comes out. A lot of people didn't like Halloween Kills because of how over the top and crazy it was, which in and of itself is a trope that they played into to glorious effect, in my opinion.
Oh,
And then
Kills is by far the superior film of the three, in my opinion.
And then you've got Halloween Ends, where it comes in with a couple of different tropes where it's like you've got the copycat killer, or someone taking up the mantle, or you can look at it a couple of different ways, and then you can also factor in a couple of other things into that. It's like the fact that she still lives after it's over. Like
Yeah.
it's been this long and she's still the one victorious at the end of the day. Like, and to me, that's what the direction of the films felt like it was going. And it paid homage to everything that Halloween did fully. Like even the sequence that we got with the garbage disposal, that was pulled straight from H2O. Like just little things like that. I mean, it was just a nod, a handshake, whatever you want to call it, to everything that had came before. And I mean, they took it and ran with it. And like, I think that that's where, and I've got a couple of articles that we'll hit on here in a minute, but I think that that's where a lot of people aren't fully understanding and realizing what this trilogy was trying to do. This trilogy was kind of like Cabin in the Woods, but with Michael Myers. It was trying to play into all this stuff on purpose and still get a decent story out of it. And I feel like they accomplished that in a gigantic way, in my opinion. So
It wasn't
that's
what
kind
I
of
expected
no.
for it to go there. But that when once it was over, I was like, oh well, I mean, they're gonna have to end it somehow. This is how they chose to do it. Like the overall experience was still good. The three movies.
Yes.
Like they did their own little world.
Yeah.
They're done
Yeah.
with it, Somebody
the
else will
movie
come along. There'll be another one.
I think the movie I was expecting was, you know, you have Halloween 1, which was Laurie's prepping and she's ready. Halloween Kills, Michael Myers is fucking just looking for her, tracking her ass down. He's ready. And I was hoping Ends would have this balance of just Michael is just on her ass, dude. Like she is getting the fuck away from him or trying to stop him, and like she'll, you know, almost to probably a better example of Thanos. Like you think she's killed this motherfucker over and over and over, but he just keep like lay into the fact that Michael Myers can't die, that he's supernatural, that he's possessed by a demon. Tap into all that shit.
Yeah.
And I guess they sort of did, but either way, like I guess I was expecting the cat and mouse to be more in the forefront
Right.
than the new story, because the new story wasn't horrible. I just think it's a case of bad timing by putting it in the very end of the story.
Right. Well, and I don't know if you guys felt this way, but I felt like they were going the direction of Michael dies and Halloween Kills, and the idea of Michael is always going to be there. And I thought that it was going to get the boy.
Yeah.
He was going to do his thing. He was going to die. It was going to get somebody else, and it was going to be that idea. And to kind of pull more from Season of the Witch, where it's like, you know, it's Michael Myers is an idea of murder.
It's the spirit of evil.
Yes, exactly. I thought that they were going to go that route with it, and then there wasn't going to be any real like resolution to it. It was just going to be something that existed, and people just had to accept that for what it was.
Well, I honestly didn't like. I knew that Kills had a schizophrenic ending.
Yeah.
Where they just split it off. Okay, you want one where he dies? Okay. You want one where he don't? Okay. We're gonna do it in a way, and they did it artfully, you know?
Yeah.
And one could, up until the very end, of course, one could argue that the whole interaction of the kid becoming Michael Myers and seeing him in the sewer, that could all have been played in that boy's mind, and it's just a visual representation of his descent into madness.
Right.
Because it would have been an even more tragic ending with the fact that even though Michael died 4 years prior, they're all just so fucked up by it, and there's no getting through it. They're gonna have to live with it. Laurie's gonna always be damaged goods. Everyone who's ever been affected, the entire town of Haddonfield, is gonna be damaged goods because of the events of Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought that it was going to go full circle to where it was going to infect the granddaughter. And
I was thinking that too, because she was clutching the knife at the end of the first one.
Michael Myers got right. I mean,
yeah, more or less. Yeah. So I thought that it was going to go full circle to where at the end of the day, it's going to be Laurie against her granddaughter. Granddaughter obviously is going to win because Laurie's not going to be able to bring herself to like finish that. And then it was just going to be this endless cycle. And that's where I thought that it was going. And I like the ending that we got. We got, you know, resolution of everything. It's fine. It is what it is. But like people would have hated it, or people would have disliked it either way you cut it, right? If it would have been the idea of Michael Myers that is killing people and what he represents, people would have been upset. With it not having much Michael Myers in it and there being like basically a copycat killer, people didn't like that. It's like the only way that people would have been satisfied is if it would have been a repeat of the 2018 flick. But how enjoyable would that have been, though? Like, it would have been good. It would have been fan service out the ass. But in the overarching story that they're trying to tell about history, PTSD, and like how victims.
Well, the whole story, I think, was pitched as an idea of generational trauma.
Exactly. Yes, and that's exactly what it was. So I mean, if it would have had Michael showing back up doing the same shit that he was doing in the first flick, except for he was going after not only Laurie but the granddaughter, like okay, like yeah, but they've already fought this boogeyman. They're not afraid of this boogeyman anymore. They've got to up the scale. They've got to do something a little bit different because they've gone out of their way multiple times, not only in this movie, but also in Kills to be like, I'm not afraid of him anymore. I'm not afraid of him. I'm going to fucking take him down. It's, they kind of, they wrote themselves into a box, which is fine because I didn't mind it at all, but
No.
I feel like a lot of the people that watched it they were expecting that. They were expecting full out Michael Myers just ripping people apart, and it's like, yeah, we just got that though. We just got that with Halloween Kills, and people were upset because of how that movie was. It's like, dude, pick a fucking lane. Decide what you want.
How he came in there and whenever he was like I said, if I can't have her, nobody will. And
Yeah.
just I didn't expect him to do that. I was like, what's he gonna do? Kill her?
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'm gonna make her think you killed me, and just ripped his neck with that shit. And it was like, damn, this dude is psycho.
Yeah, right.
Like,
at the end of the day, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I mean, I thought that the trilogy as a whole was very solid, and I got the message and I understood what they were going for, and that made it a more enjoyable experience, even for some of the lackluster moments in the trilogy.
Yeah, because I mean, all of them, all three movies had their issues,
Yeah, for sure.
but at the same time, it just depends on how much you're willing to let go and enjoy the ride you're given, or with an established IP, you understand the formula and you want that same formula, but you want different numbers in it. It's
And
still going to end up being the same, but it will be different.
yeah,
And I think that's always that's the common that's the filmmaker's issue, not
yeah,
ours.
yeah,
Because how do
exactly.
you balance that? How do you approach something as old as Halloween?
Yeah. Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
think it was a valiant effort.
Mhm.
I enjoyed it. I didn't hate the film. It kept my attention. I didn't think. I just. I was certainly like a lot of people in the fact that I was expecting at least the tremors of the bloodbath that was the second movie.
Yes.
But I think it's just different strokes for different folks. But I feel like going into overdrive outcry mode about it, I think that's a little much.
Yeah.
I don't think it was that bad.
No. Well, and if people want that experience, there's like 15 fucking Halloween movies that existed before this even happened. You
and there'll
know
be
what I'm
more.
saying?
This is
Yeah.
not the end of that
And with the
franchise. It never will be.
no, and with the way that it was left off, if somebody wants to come in and pick up with Michael Myers being Michael Myers, they can. If they want to pick up with Laurie's granddaughter being the Laurie replacement, they can. They left it open enough where they could do if anybody wanted to sequelize it, they could in multiple ways.
I
And
would like a telling of Halloween where we still get the shape, we still get Michael Myers and like the character and everything, but tell us a different iteration of a of a disillusioned youth who succumbs to evil, and how we get to a resolution for that.
yeah.
And don't make it necessarily be about the scream queen that makes it to the end of the film, the survivor, but
I don't think she'll be
kind
in
of
another one. I think that was her
kind
send
of
off. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
you're done.
But
You
but instead
finished
of
it.
instead of recasting and having it be something like Laurie v. Michael,
Yeah.
have it be it's Halloween.
Yeah.
This motherfucker loses his shit and he decides to grab a William Shatner mask.
Let
Yeah.
the Predator roll up on his ass. That's all I'm saying.
I'd love to
Watch
see
out, man.
that.
He'd probably die pretty fast, but
Yeah. I don't know, dude. I don't
don't
know.
let him get close to you.
Yeah.
Got one hell of a hook. His fucking hand.
That was fucking nuts, dude. They did some cool shit, man.
I thought she was gonna get in that thing with him. I was like, she's gonna kill herself too to just end it all. It's like it stops
Yeah,
here.
right.
If I'm not here, he's got no
Now,
reason to come back.
the worst, I will say the worst part in the whole fucking movie, and it got me to actually openly laugh, and it was the shot where, like, something you would hear out of two kids, like, playing some super serious fight out in the yard, some play or whatever, you know? But it was when Laurie looks at that one guy and goes, "Did you really think I'd kill myself?"
Yeah.
Dude, I lost my shit when I watched that. That was so
I thought
fucking
she was gonna shoot herself. I was
dumb.
like, she's gonna kill herself because the girls left.
He
But
said,
then when
"Did
he
you
opened
really
the
think
door,
I'd
there she
kill
was.
myself?" It'd be like, it's like
I've been
two
waiting for you.
It's like two kids out in the yard fighting where he's like, I'm fighting, and they're like, "Yeah, well, I can fight too, and I know 2 moves more than you."
Yeah. She's like, I had little Johnny Walker. I'm about to fuck you up. She did.
When another pretty crazy scene was when uh I can't remember what the chick's name was, but it was the professor's daughter, not daughter, or his date, I guess.
Yeah.
He's going to set the mood, get the feng shui going, and Michael Myers just rolls up and he's like, "All right, you look better on a wall, ka-chunk." Like,
Yeah.
just fucking, like, puts her ass on there like a picture, dude.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm like, that's a pretty damn, like, 1, a long knife, 2, sturdy knife, 3, Michael knows where all the studs in that building is, because how is that woman's weight, like, that's not how that works.
yeah, right.
Well, dude, you can't
So
rip your hand off a knife and choke somebody with it like that.
no. All the
A lot of this
tendons,
stuff.
all the
I mean,
nerves.
I get it. I know that's one of many
But when he
things,
choked her with that, I
but
was like, nah, that thing would not work.
nah.
That hand is fucked.
But he's no ordinary man.
So there's a petition right now. I don't know if it's still happening or not, for them to reshoot the film Halloween Ends, right? Or how? Yeah. So
Oh,
this is
God.
this is what they had to say about it. Okay. One of the biggest gripes fans seem to have with Halloween Ends is that it puts Michael Myers in the back seat. Some viewers had expected the masked murderer to have a bigger presence in the sequel after he was teased to be an unstoppable force who was just getting started at the end of Halloween Kills. Instead, new character Corey Cunningham takes center stage with the bulk of the film, exploring his romance with Laurie's granddaughter Allison. Traumatized by his own Halloween night tragedy, Corey essentially becomes the new Michael in the film, going so far as to steal the boogeyman's mask to carry out the majority of the movie's murders himself. Now, per iHorror, some fans are crying foul and demanding that Halloween Ends be remade from scratch. A new petition has been launched, which you can find at change.org, calling for a new version of the movie to be made with more Michael Myers. This is reminiscent of when the controversial final season of Game of Thrones had a popular petition for HBO to reshoot the show's ending. This is what the description reads: Halloween Ends was not a film that the fans wanted. This was an origin story, the Corey story. We deserve a movie worthy of Michael Myers and the Halloween franchise. We love this franchise wholeheartedly, and this version of a Halloween movie left us sad, mad, disappointed, and infuriated. Please give us a movie that shows us what Halloween is really about. Our apex predator, the king of slasher movies, Michael Myers. This movie gave us a weak, pathetic Michael who needed his mask to survive. This isn't our Michael Myers. Our killer is strong, relentless, and unstoppable. Please right this wrong, we beg of you.
It's almost got 15,000 signatures. About to hit
I mean,
14,000.
I patiently await the trailer.
yeah, right. I mean, but logically going into this flick, after we saw what
He
happens to
got fucked
Michael,
up, man.
yeah, at the end of Halloween Kills, he got fucked. I mean, they shot him, they stabbed
The
him.
town beat his ass.
Like, he's
Yes.
just a man,
Yeah,
you know?
And yeah, we got the weird quasi metaphorical, yeah, but what if he just fucking destroyed the town? It's
yeah,
like, yeah, in your fantasy land where your rage is just unstoppable, cool. We all have that. We all want that. But that's not the reality of what went down. He got his ass beat and
yeah,
he survived because he is Michael Myers. But he went and fucking Voldemorted into a goddamn sewer.
yeah,
Because at the end of the day,
Well,
evil is not that great. It's not that powerful. It's loud. It makes a raucous noise. But evil is built off of fragility, fucking insecurity, like all that little stuff that harbors it. It's not just always rage.
yeah, right.
The rage comes later when it's stewed for decades, sure, and that's what we're looking at now. But we've made it a point to see different psychologists that analyze Michael Myers in the film, and we've seen plenty of backstory to know that all Michael Myers is just a stunted individual that was, had a very fucked up beginning, traumatized as a kid and everything, and the barriers that a psychopathic child would put up would later become something very much like a psychopathic killer. It's going to just kill who the fuck ever with no remorse and the whole evil incarnate.
Yeah,
So I think it depicted Michael pretty much in his base form, and it's that he was just a fucked up human being, and he was weakened because Laurie stood up to him, the town stood up to him. At the end of the day, it's the flavor of Halloween we got, and some people just didn't dig it. They wanted savory, and we got sweet.
yeah, right.
And, like Adam said, there's going to be more.
yeah. But a
This isn't
petition
it.
to reshoot it?
I
Yeah.
mean,
That's why
like-
they stopped making those, you remember those Batman and Superman movies? Because people were like, "Rah!" Like,
Yeah, right.
Don't be listening to the internet. Like, it's
Yeah,
out, it's done, move on.
yeah. If somebody else wants to make another version of it, they by all
yeah.
means can.
This is the third iteration of the Michael Myers story,
Yeah.
I think. Isn't it the third?
Well, I guess
We've-
it would be the
We've got the
fourth.
original timeline. We've got the zombie timeline, and then we've got this is still part of the first timeline,
Yeah,
but it's a second.
original.
It's a
a branch, an alternate.
yeah.
universe.
I remember
Right.
you had posted that image a long time ago that gave us a breakdown of the Halloween timeline and where
Yeah.
the splits occurred and what
Yeah.
have you.
So the director responded.
Oh,
David Gordon Green has weighed in on Halloween Ends generating so much backlash in the horror community. So, as we know now, Halloween Ends was not exactly met with open arms upon its release. It was met with negative reviews and heavy criticism from fans on social media. At the same time, the film has its defenders, with other Halloween fans praising the sequel, along with Green for doing something bold. As for how it all makes Green feel, the director says in a new interview with Movie Maker that everyone will have their own opinions. So what he found was best was to focus on finishing telling the story he sought out to tell in a way that personally makes him feel satisfied. It's funny when someone says build your dream house on this real estate using this title and these characters. Everybody is going to find a different little thing that's meaningful for them and they'll make it their own. That's what I did. For every bite of backlash, you also get people that are thanking you for taking it to a new place and keeping it alive and full of love. So, and then it says here John Carpenter was on board with Gordon Green's plans for Halloween Ends. So Green may have anticipated that there would be some backlash, and they told the dude that played Corey that they're like, "Dude, you're going to catch a lot of shit for this. Are you sure you want to take this?" And he's like, "Yes."
I mean, that's a role of a lifetime.
Speaking
Yeah.
of John Carpenter, I
Even if
wanna
it's
I wanna
bad
do a
or whatever, you know.
I wanna do a I wanna do an honorable mention though. The soundtrack to this movie was
Ballin'.
mint.
Dude,
Yeah.
when she did the piano thing,
Yeah,
come on, that was cool.
that was
Then
really
he did it
fucking
later.
cool.
He did it louder.
Yeah,
Oh, and it was like, okay.
yeah.
I didn't hate it, man. I don't know.
No,
I don't get that amount of hate. Like online, there's like a shit ton of hate for this movie. A
Yeah.
crazy campaign. It's like they're not going to remake it. I mean, there's a shit ton of money on the trilogy, right?
yeah. So I didn't hate it, man. I thought that they did a great job, and I think it's interesting because here's the reality of the situation. And I think that with films like Pill's horror films that he's been working on, right?
Yeah.
There's more you can have now that like the world is more open to talk about trauma. The world is more open to talk about um, mental health issues and things like that, right? It's nice to see that right now in this world with horror movies, they can take a deeper dive and a deeper inspection into what makes people tick in this fantasy environment, right? And it's nice to see that they incorporated that into the Halloween franchise the way that they did, to where you have all of these different things that are kind of going into effect. I mean, you have like the generational trauma, you have survivor's guilt to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? Like you have all these different ideas and things being explored and laid out, and you have Halloween as the backdrop to that. Now, I understand that people like they want to see just mindless killings and murders and all that good stuff. Download Shudder and watch any $20,000 horror movie that's just got mindless murder in it, and you're good to go. You know what I'm saying? There's movies out there that exist for you, and they've just gotten cheaper to make, and they've been made cheaper. You know what I mean? They're more B or lower tier movies at this point. Yeah, exactly. And it's bold that he went with something different. It's bold that he told the story that he wanted to tell, and the fact that he got Carpenter's blessing in order to do so is a huge, huge plus. And I think even Carpenter was very interested to see that idea played out, because when he wrote Halloween, he had no idea the repercussions. You know what I'm saying? And that's like if you take any popular horror franchise where you have someone that survived and you take a look at how that affected them mentally and even physically to an extent, what would you see and what would you find? We don't know. We know how it affected Lori. We know how it affected her family. And it's nice to kind of peek behind that curtain a little bit, as opposed to this motherfucker's back. Click, click, boom. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a little bit more substance there than just mindless murder and titties and fucking alcohol and your favorite horror tropes.
Well, and his next project's The Exorcist and the Hellraiser TV series.
And
He's got in the works.
I feel like a lot of the best scenes are like the quote unquote essence of Halloween. For me, it's in how well you craft those scenes where the victim is front and present in the shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like when the woman's
You
pulling
know,
the curtains.
Yeah, or
in the second one.
someone's on the phone, or like someone's doing some sort of menial task.
Yeah.
And then behind them, in the distance, in the dark, in the hallway, in the stairs, just the scenes of Michael in pursuit.
Yes.
Are more edge of your seat level stuff than necessarily the kill.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize for my dogs, by the way. But you know, because when you see any kind of anything that talks about horror, or when you're seeing anything necessarily talking about Halloween, and you know they have some sort of highlight or clip that you'll see the like an iconic shot of you know Michael ascending the steps or him in the hallway, and you hear that classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like that to me, when I think of Halloween, I always think of those shots in the movie.
They gave us some of that in the first one.
They gave us
Second
some
one
of
a
it
little
throughout
bit,
the.
you know.
Yeah, I
We
say
just
throughout
didn't
the
really
whole
get it
thing.
in this one.
That I would honestly, man, I would have to debate that with you. I feel like we got plenty of it in the film.
In this one, well, he just at one point he just kind of came from nowhere and showed up and kicked their ass. Like
Mm-hmm.
right there at the end, it was like, oh, he's the boy's dead. Now what? It's like, oh shit.
And I mean, so much so I
The
can't remember if
door's
it was
open.
can't remember if it's the first or the second one, but where we get the long shot of
Them
Michael's
going around
killing
behind that
spree.
house and yeah, that's really cool.
I would say that's one of the best shots or sequences in the entire franchise.
Yeah, for sure.
When you can see the
we've got-
shadow of him in the window.
Yeah,
You don't
you
see
hear
him,
you
you
know
just see that shadow on the wall.
you're
It's
hearing
like,
the
oh.
you're hearing the Carpenter theme just thumping in the background. Camera's just focused on Michael. You see him go from the hammer. He upgrades from the hammer to the knife. He goes from you just see him being him.
Yeah.
Like the part of the films that you never got to see.
Yeah.
You know, you only saw the victims build up to Michael arriving. You never saw the eeriness of Michael just going to the next place to kill somebody.
Yeah.
And that's
There's
more
deer.
terrifying. That's more terrifying and eerie than the death itself.
Yeah.
Because it's the methodology, yeah, the stalking, the predatory aspects of Michael Myers.
Yeah.
And like to me that because you know once again like most horror films the film is not scary, but I think as an adult watching horror films it's the eeriness that creates the fear, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Because it's the idea of like someone just sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
Knowing
You
that
don't know.
their mind is focused on about what they're about to do. And then they go from the downtime to, okay, time to get it done. And then you
Yeah.
see it play out. That is a realistic horror inducing concept, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, and who can forget Big John, Little John? I mean, let's be honest.
Oh,
I mean,
dude.
rest in pitiful pieces.
Oh,
Yeah. That was one of my highlights of the entire trilogy was the Big John, Little John
that
thing,
was the
dude.
best.
I
He's like, Big
mean,
John, Little John.
yeah.
I was like, oh man, now we're gonna watch him get killed.
Yeah. Sorry,
They put up a
boys.
fight though.
Yeah, they tried.
The big one did.
Lord knows they tried, you know.
I mean, outside of the film, as far as like aesthetics and stuff, loved Michael's mask when we did get
It
it.
did look cool.
Yeah.
Like Pirates
I
of the
really-
Caribbean, you know. They released the Kraken, Michael Myers, dude.
Yeah.
And I really dug the opening credits.
Yeah.
It had that old film look with the credit titles. You had that crazy pumpkin just like going off fractal style, like it'd break open for another one. You'd see one inside it coming closer and it'd break open and just I don't know, it's just like that like stuff like that sets a tone, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
when your credit sequence and the way you start a film can really make or break whether the person's going to sit through it all or not.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I'm giving how the entire Halloween trilogy, the Green trilogy is what I'm gonna call it from now on. I'm giving it 3 stars, dude, or a full star.
I give it a star.
I really
I don't
enjoyed
want
it,
him to
man.
taint his career with this.
No.
You know, where it's like, remember they were for a long time they were like fucking that dude ruined fucking the DC Justice League.
Yeah,
It's like, no,
Snyder.
the
Yeah.
studio did.
Yeah.
We
No,
know what happened.
I think that there's enough in all of these films to where everybody got exactly what they wanted. If you want mindless Michael killing, you got 2 full films of it. If you want something that thinks outside the box and does something a little different, you have the entire trilogy. Like, just like the rest of every single horror franchise that's ever been made, take and pick what you like and leave what you don't, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can go with every other fucking Friday the 13th movie was good. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Should have
just you
used some
can
more
go.
titties. Just don't
I
put enough
mean,
titties in movies like they used to. Good old days. Remember?
it's more
They
brain,
don't make
less
movies
titties
like that
now.
no more.
I know, right?
There'd be a rack every 5 minutes.
I know, more racks,
And she'd get
less
stabbed to
blood.
death, and it was like, this is
Yeah,
crazy.
stab her in the titty. Yeah, I just saw her tits. God, but yeah, I'm giving this movie a full star.
I give it a full star as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that the trilogy as a whole deserves the
Yeah.
coveted golden butcher knife.
Man, it's
dude.
called Halloween Ends, dude. It fucking ends.
Yeah, right.
At least for that, story.
Yeah,
Put him in a blender.
yeah. They put him in that thing that I watch YouTube videos about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those
It's
things
like,
will,
will
it'll
this
eat anything. I've like
will this
rims
refrigerator
off
survive it?
cars. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, dude, I've
I'm like,
seen
"What?"
them.
Yeah, can't
There's always
help
some
it.
guy with a big stick that's just like pushing shit
Yeah,
around.
yeah,
Gotta get it at the right angle, and it'll just eat anything.
yeah, right.
Wonder if that's what he saw on YouTube one day. He was like, "Yeah, those fucking things. We should put him in one of those."
Yeah, it's supposed to disintegrate everything.
It worked. Whenever he went popped like that, and it was just blood and bones, I was like, "Set it on fire." That's what I said. Burn it down.
Yeah,
But yeah, full star.
I thought that they were going to put him in an incinerator.
I thought car crusher. I was like, they're gonna crush a car with him on top of it.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
like, what is this parade?
Yeah, that was
The
kind of funny.
town, dude, had a funeral for him.
Yeah,
It was almost like they all talked about it and knew.
Yeah, they're like, if we ever catch this motherfucker,
We're taking him right down the road. We know he's going to be at Laurie's house, so we'll take him right.
have that bitch move
He's
into
fucking coming
town.
after her.
Yeah,
Yeah. You think she gonna go to bed early on Halloween night?
hell
Shit.
no. She got a loaded revolver, bitch.
Yeah. But yeah.
Andor.
Nah. What?
Andor Cassian. Look, this is what I'll say. Where the series is going, if it keeps this trajectory,
Yeah.
specifically with
The
Mal
politicians
Moffat, yeah,
and the investigation and
yes,
Yeah.
this is the shit that I do like.
yeah, really.
You know what I'm saying? Like this, it was building to something, and I was expecting it to build. Which we haven't got to like Andor's side of like what all's going on. He's just like he's got 6 years for like jaywalking or some shit. But
He's gonna break out of jail, right? I mean,
he's got yeah, man, 6 years.
What if it's like 6 years later and he comes out and it's like, holy
Yeah,
shit,
whoa,
or he's just gone
yeah.
for 6 years?
Yeah, right. It's like whoa,
Like it's Andor
But-
without Andor.
yeah. But I do like where they're going with everything, and I do like how this ripple effect. Like, I mean, Palpatine like really stepped up fucking security everywhere, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I like Skarsgård. She's like, people are gonna die, and he's like, good. That's what needs to happen. Like, but more or less, that's what he said.
Yeah.
And he's not wrong. I mean, how do you get a rebellion? You have
martyrdom has to occur.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. So, and that's exactly what he set out to do. Like he knows, and he knows that he's gonna be one of these people at some point. He'll die for the cause and the idea. He seems
Yeah.
like that type of person. You know what I'm saying? So, but I do. If they continue on with this trajectory, I do like where this is going. You
Yeah.
know?
It's just taking a long time to get there.
Yeah, you're
Like,
absolutely correct.
speed that
It's
up a
Yeah,
ridiculous.
little. It's like, okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
This show, it's fucking boring.
yeah,
It's fucking boring, and I hate it because normally I don't mind a lot of dialogue. I don't. I guess it's just because you know, for previous reasons stated in the past few episodes, man.
Well, it's
But
like this new lady that wants to investigate everything. I just didn't really give a fuck about any of the other stuff till it got to her, where she was like, "I'm looking around," and I'm like,
yeah, right.
what's what's the chain reaction here?
Yeah,
Are they gonna find out, dude, the politician?
yeah.
Like, you
Well, and my
know,
thing too is like, who's she really working for?
she could be dirty. Oh,
Well, she could be aligned with the rebels to
right.
where she's going to try to go in there and either send them on a false trail or try to scrub the information. Well, I mean, she can't really scrub it now because she's already let them know that she has the information,
Mm-hmm.
but she could send them down
Rabbit hole.
some,
Just
yeah,
yeah,
some wormhole here. Yeah. So, and that's the thing that I find so fascinating. It's like you've got all these different moving parts, especially within an empire of that size. There's so many moving parts. There's so many people involved. I mean, you're talking probably
planets.
trillions.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
of
quadrillions of
yeah,
people. Like, I don't even know how to count that high. Like, there's that many moving parts and that many people that's involved in this shit. And it's like, you don't know who's good, you don't know who's bad. That should be the thriller aspect of it. And that's kind of what I wanted with like a Game of Thrones esque Star Wars story, is where you have all this like political intrigue and all this, ratting around shit. And
yeah,
you don't know who's on what side and who's going to die and is it going to further the cause and like what's going to, that's what I wanted. And they're kind of like building that up now. But did we really need to wait until the 6th or 7th episode to start? Like, I know that they were laying the groundwork for
yeah.
everything, but
Wasn't the best groundwork. I mean, it was
they
all
could have
right,
condensed,
but
yeah, they could have condensed those first 3 episodes down into 1 episode.
yeah,
They could have had the introductions to the heist and what's going on, scoping it out, like being a little bit more involved in like doing the heist stuff as far as like training for it and get prepared for it, and then have the heist thing happen, then have this episode. So realistically, this should have been like the 4th episode
yeah. You need to
and not
start
like,
cracking skulls by 4. Come on,
yeah,
like
exactly, right. So, but I mean, like I said, I'm starting to enjoy it more now. And like we said in the last couple of episodes, there's going to have to be a turning point. Turning point kind of happened. Now, if they can keep that momentum going, then good. If they can keep that momentum going in a very interesting kind of way, then I may go back and watch the first half of it to see if I pick up more on what's now that I know kind of where everybody's lining up.
yeah,
Because, like, dude going to that planet and all that happened in the 3rd episode and then getting fired from being part of the fucking whatever he was, the Empire fucking police shit. Like, his story
oh, something's
doesn't
up with that. They
exactly.
keep bringing
But
him up for a reason, and
yeah. So is he gonna get involved with the Empire or with the rebels? Is he going to try to track Cassian down? Like,
oh,
where does he fall into
it's
line with all
personal.
of this stuff? Yeah.
Lost his
So,
job.
yeah. So I do like where they're going with it now. I'm actually excited to watch the next episode. So that's where I land with it. I
We'll
mean,
see.
yeah, I still want that I want that Game of Thrones esque, where it's not
Yeah,
one character that it's focused around. I want it to be
Oh yeah, all these
like
different
different planets.
storylines, and they're all coming
Yes,
together, and some
yeah,
don't. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. You know nothing, R2D2. So we'll see. But I do like where it's going now. But speaking of Star Wars, Damon Lindelof Star Wars movie will be set after the Disney trilogy. So Lost and Watchmen writer Damon Lindelof is currently working on a Star Wars movie. It has now been confirmed. More details of this mysterious Star Wars project have now been unveiled, revealing that the project will be set after the events of the divisive Disney trilogy and is being planned as a standalone movie with the potential to spawn further adventures. Coming courtesy of the Hollywood Reporter, sources have stated that Lindelof's Star Wars project is intended as a standalone, but in success could lead to more movies. The report adds that the story would take place after the events of 2019 Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, but it will not be a continuation of the Skywalker saga, though it could feature some of the characters that were introduced during the events of The Force Awakens in 2015, The Last Jedi in 2017, and finally Rise of Skywalker in 2019. Should these sources turn out to be correct, this would make Lindelof's Star Wars movie the first to take place beyond the Disney trilogy, which saw the fan base divided following the release of Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, and then divided again after Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker hit the silver screen. So, yeah, he did a Watchmen, right?
that TV series,
Yeah.
that was good. But he's also fucked some movies up because he's that
Yeah.
motherfucker that's like, no, 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 don't put all of this in the movie. You're gonna get 3 of them. Spread it out. I think he did it to Prometheus, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was the one that don't put it all in there.
yeah. So he wrote The Hunt, Watchmen, Tomorrowland, World War Z, Star Trek Into Darkness, Prometheus, Cowboys and Aliens,
Mhm.
Lost, a lot of Lost.
Yeah, he worked on that one big time.
Yeah. Nash Bridges.
I mean,
Fuck
dude,
yeah, dude.
The Watchmen was great. So
Yeah, it was.
let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Whatever he did there was awesome. Let's see if he can.
If he can keep that momentum with that, like he did with that, then I'm down. I'm DT dub,
Yeah.
So, but it's interesting. And there was another post that I was going to bring up too, but like Ryan Johnson is still wanting to do his Star Wars trilogy.
Mhm.
And I don't think that's ever going to happen unless like somebody other than Kathleen fucking
Management,
Kennedy's in
yeah.
charge. Yeah. Yeah. There's going to have to be some
Oh, he'll
large
wait, yeah.
structural change. Yeah. But I like the idea of them taking it past what we've been shown so far and it kind of being outside of the Skywalker saga. I'm interested to see what characters he decides to run with. Maybe Finn, maybe Poe. Not sure, like maybe some of the other random characters that they introduced, but I don't know. I'm interested to see what they do.
Dude, it's so crazy that she's still there after all
I
these
know.
bad decisions. Like,
Yeah.
she's got to have like something on somebody.
Fell in
I
upwards,
mean,
dude. Yeah.
something where it's like, you wouldn't want people to know this, would you? And it's like, nope.
Yeah.
She's been in the business a long time. That's all I'm going to say. All I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
I mean,
She's definitely someone that has failed to the top.
weird.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it be like that. I work with some of those people myself, If you do a bad enough job, they'll give you a promotion and put you doing something different,
Yeah.
And it's fucking stupid. But on the lighter side of things here, Adam Driver is being eyed to play Mr. Fantastic. So another day, another Marvel rumor. This latest word churned out by the rumor mill claims that Marvel Studios has met with Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker and House of Gucci star Adam Driver for the Fantastic Four reboot. Speaking with the Hot Mic podcast, the Anchor's Jeff Snide. The Anchor's Jeff Snyder claims that Marvel is eyeing the Academy Award nominated actor for the role of Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic. However, there has also been whispers that Driver could slip on a metal mask for the villain of the piece, Doctor Doom, as well. Now, Snyder does quickly note that the rumors surrounding Driver and his ties with the Fantastic Four come from an unproven source, though he has chosen to believe this person because it smells right to him. So, while you will want to be ready with the salt for this particular rumor, the idea of Adam Driver as either Reed Richards or Doctor Doom would certainly make sense.
That's a hot mic.
That's a hot mic, dude. Him as Mr. Fantastic would be okay. I don't know, man.
I mean,
I like Adam Driver a
I
lot.
just have to see it.
Yes, I like him.
Having a hard time picturing it. That's
Yeah. This is what I'll say, though.
He's a good actor,
Everything,
so.
yes, everything that he's done that's not Star Wars that I've seen him in has been phenomenal. And I'm not saying that his performance in Star Wars wasn't phenomenal. I'm just saying that, like, you kind of have to separate that, in my opinion, a little bit,
Uh-huh.
because, like, it's Star Wars,
Yeah.
it is what it is at the end of the day. So, like, his performances and a lot of other stuff have been stellar. I'm not sure. I've never seen him play like,
A hero.
well, not just a hero, but someone that would be somewhat relatable to.
Yeah.
I guess the most relatable that he's played would be from Logan Lucky.
Yeah.
But he was, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But, like, I haven't seen him in anything personally that I'm like, okay, this is, except for that scene where him and Black Widow got into an argument, like while they were married.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah,
this
that
shit's
was
real.
fucking
Yeah. This shit's real right
It
here.
was almost like they were really in a relationship.
Yeah, they might have been, method, So, but yeah, I mean, and I could see him play Doctor Doom. I mean, he's got the voice for it. I mean, look at Star Wars in that example. He's got the voice, so I don't know. We'll see. So here's some interesting news. James Gunn and Peter Safran appointed as co-CEOs of newly formed DC Studios. So James Gunn has been behind some of the most exciting DC projects of the last few years, and now Gunn has been appointed as co-chairman and co-CEO of DC Studios at Warner Brothers Discovery, along with Warner Brothers Discovery, along with Peter Safran. The newly formed production arm of the studio will be responsible for overseeing DC output from Warner Brothers Discovery going forward. The new appointment comes hot on the heels of the departure of DC Films president Walter Hamada, whose role is yet to be filled, and is part of the continued overhaul of the DC franchise, which has seen a number of priority changes, cancellations, and the future creation of a new Marvel-style 10-year plan for a more cohesive and potentially more lucrative DCEU. In a joint statement, Gunn and Safran said, "We're honored to be stewards of these DC characters we've loved since we were children. We look forward to collaborating with the most talented writers, directors, and actors in the world to create an integrated, multi-layered universe that still allows for the individual expression of the artists involved. Our commitment to Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Harley Quinn, and the rest of the DC stable of characters is only equaled by our commitment to the wonder of human possibility these characters represent. We're excited to invigorate the theatrical experience around the world as we tell some of the biggest, most beautiful, and grandest stories ever told. We're especially enthusiastic about doing all of this with Mike, Pam, Casey, Channing, and a whole Warner Brothers Discovery team, and grateful to David Zaslav, whose bold vision for the future of the franchise we share and allows for this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Most of all, we can't wait to bring you all into the story of the DCU." This is very unexpected. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, they said last week he was working on some secret DC movie. Like,
Yeah.
what is it? But he's like,
working on it.
these two report to David.
Yeah, right.
No breaking, you know what I mean? Nobody above them is going to be like, oh, no, maybe you should. Like, no, you report to me.
Yeah. Now, here's my only concern with this situation, because don't get me wrong, I love James Gunn. I love what he's done with DC. I've loved what he's done with Marvel, but he's with his directing and writing, he's very specific and, he's got a very weird
The
niche.
style. Yeah.
Yes. He likes, injecting comedy, and he likes injecting adult humor in a lot of ways. And I'm not saying that he doesn't have the ability to tone it down, but will his own personal I guess my biggest thing is that will his own personal creativity negatively influence what DC does with their property? And I think that as a businessman, I think James Gunn is smart enough to not let that happen.
No, yeah.
But when some kids are handed the keys to the kingdom, they can't help themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But he's also in the position to where they can hire other directors to come in. People, I mean, they're running the show now.
Right. So
they don't write and direct everything, but
no, but right.
We're definitely getting more Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Which
I guess what I'm saying is, like, Kevin Feige has a very, very, like, specific route that he wants the Marvel universe to go into. And he's had this very specific route that, I mean, of course it's changed, with different things and, whatever. Like, look at Thor, look at what they did with Thor and how they changed him and all that kind of stuff. So it's something that's flexible. Kevin Feige also likes to play it very, very, very safe.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. James Gunn, on the other hand, is a little bit more open to potentially causing controversy.
He's HBO.
Yeah, exactly.
Kevin Feige's Disney.
Yeah. So, and I've got to look up who Peter Safran is real quick.
He's a producer, like Annabelle, Conjuring,
Aquaman,
yeah,
Flatliners, Buried.
He's been doing it a while.
Shazam.
Well, he's just there, they're running that together, and they're like showrunners kind of, so
yeah,
they'll be able to get stuff, get it in there and get it at the green light. Like,
yeah. So here's what it sounds. This is what it sounds like to me after looking at this dude's filmography here as being a producer. It feels like Peter Safran is going to be the business. It feels like James Gunn is going to be the direction.
Yeah.
And then they're going to bring people in to realize the overarching story that they want to tell in the long term, and the stories that they tell in the short term are going to be at the writers and the director's discretion. That's what it feels like to me, which I think is good. I think that these two obviously work well together because dude produced all of Peacemaker and Suicide Squad. So they obviously developed a good working relationship during all of that. So it makes sense that they have and it makes sense that they have these two extremes, because I mean, like Kevin Feige's the be all end all. He's got his own team of people that you don't really hear about that kind of work with him on everything. But I think from us and in our previous lives here, the more people that you have collaborating on something and the more ideas that are flowing, at the end of the day, as long as there's a clear direction of where this property or this idea needs to go, then it can develop something beautiful in a big way. You know what I mean? So it's just like writing a song, man. You bring all these different ideas in from all these different people, and as long as the direction of that song is and the style that you're going for is there, then you can mold something into something beautiful. And I think that they'll be able to do that.
Well, it's
I'm giving
crazy
them
because he's got his toe all up in Marvel too. Like,
yeah, he's basically
we'll have the new Guardians special soon and the movie.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, whoa, man! Like,
yeah, slow down, bro. It's crazy that he went from being canceled being kicked off of Guardians of the Galaxy, fired from Marvel,
Imagine.
does Suicide Squad. They're like,
Oh,
he's not so bad.
he had one
Comes
hell of a
back.
comeback. Peacemaker?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, right. So, and I'm okay with I'm okay with all this. I'm going to give this the benefit of the doubt because there's a lot of people out there that's like, really, fucking James Gunn?
Well, somebody had to take and nobody wants to take that job because it's like, you're going to get blamed for everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's hard to find somebody the willing to step in and be like, no, long term, what are we doing?
Yeah. Well, and not only that, but like, who has made more comic book movies than James Gunn at this point? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Suicide Squad.
Too, like,
yeah, like it is a comic book come to life in a big way. Like, look at Guardians. I mean, he's the first one that took us into space. If you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In the Marvel universe, and did it in such a clever way and such an interesting way that now it's a staple of this universe for us. So his identification of comic book material is great.
Yeah.
And his way to pick that apart and make it relatable to your average everyday moviegoer is unparalleled.
He's
so
got a good resume.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
And he made fucking Brightburn.
Yeah.
So, there's that too. Now he could make Brightburn actually be Superman.
Yeah.
Could you fucking imagine,
Just go in there and CGI that one.
Yeah, right.
Put the team on it.
He's like, put Henry Cavill's face on the boy with the mustache.
They look at him and they're like, sir, that's going to look weird. And he's like, do it.
Yeah, just do it now.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Oh, what do you think, Trav? James Gunn and coming in as the Feige, the 50% Feige.
I mean, I hope it bears good fruit, man.
Shit, it's gonna bear a good paycheck for this motherfucker. I know that. So, all right. So we've got some details of Henry Cavill's return to Superman. So, Man of Steel star Henry Cavill is officially back as Superman since appearing in the red and blue suit during the final moments of the recent DC outing Black Adam. Fans have wondered what this means for Cavill's iteration of Superman going forward. Well, according to the Hollywood Reporter, Cavill has so far only signed on for that brief Black Adam cameo, but the studio is interested in more. We, like others, are buzzing about the post-credit scene for Black Adam, but will it lead anywhere? The actor involved made a one-off deal, sources tell Heat Vision. Whoa, what the fuck is Heat Vision? Though the studio is definitely interested in more from the star, including solo outing. The appearance and thus the return of Henry Cavill as Superman during the last few seconds of Black Adam has been known for some time. Cavill's Man of Steel steps out of the smoke. I'm not going to read all that. Whenever Henry Cavill looks back, DC fans have been left to wonder what exactly this means. According to the report, while Cavill has thus far only signed on to suit up again for Black Adam, the studio is now very interested in bringing the actor back for more. A solo outing is especially mentioned, meaning that we may at least see Man of Steel 2, which will surely be called Man of Tomorrow. I hope so. Let's see. They talk about the post-credit scene more, and I don't want to read that because.
I didn't know he was in it, but it makes sense because they kept talking about him.
Yeah,
The Rock was like, super bad.
I went ahead and watched it because I wasn't sure how the movie was going to pan at the box office, much less when we would get around to watch it. But I watched the post credit.
Oh,
it's it has no spoilers as to the fact that obviously Black Adam survives the movie, so there is that. Sorry. But there's nothing mentioned as to what goes on in the film. So when I actually sit down to watch it, it'll still be a fresh watch. But I did watch the post credit.
Well, I'm interested to see what they like.
But it's not. It's not. I mean, it's not just Superman that shows up. There's a second cameo, but with with that little sequence coupled with the James Gunn news,
Yeah.
it's got me optimistic as to where we're going.
Right.
Because if it's gonna be under his direction, I feel like Gunn is going to respect Zack Snyder in a sense that while they may not like the thing that I feel is largely overlooked is that Warner Brothers can let the Snyder cut more or less ferment. Let it chill, let it kind of do its thing. Let more people slowly warm up to watching a 4-hour movie.
Yeah.
And I say that because since we've covered it on the film, one of the big key things about that film and the key difference is that we have actual screen time with Darkseid.
Yeah.
And we have that sequence at the end, which now is perfect because it can let DC air out itself, everything, course correct, if you will. When they're all discussing what to do with the Justice League, Darkseid's like, nah, we found the anti-life equation, it's on Earth. And at one point he says, ready the Armada, we will use the old ways. Meaning instead of just teleporting there straight there, him and his army is going to go the long way around and roll up on Earth in full force.
Yeah.
So, the events of Aquaman, Wonder Woman, not Wonder Woman yet because it's still building up to the present time, but the Flash, all the other stuff. Darkseid's on his way. How long that's going to take can be however many films we need it to be.
Yeah.
But now DC has a goalpost. All these DC films are going to be building up to the arrival of Darkseid, or at least if Gunn and company decide to salvage the Zack Snyder plotline and Marvelize it.
Yeah.
Which they very well will. They very much will. But I hope with James Gunn's approach to filmmaking, he's going to allow these films to be their own thing, to stand on their own 2 feet, be only loosely connected. And with the whole concept of borrowing from Zack Snyder's original story outline, they're able to have it to where Darkseid's on his way. So that could take years, decades. And so, we can tell so many great stories. And with James Gunn obviously showing us, because him and Taika Waititi have very firmly proven that they can handle cosmic Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been in those rooms.
Yeah,
they plan stuff out for all the.
Absolutely, they know how it works. They know how these talks can be successful and beneficial for everyone involved, and they can, they can definitely work that same angle with DC. And a large part of that, I think, is contributed to the fact that Jack Kirby has contributed to the cosmic side of both respective companies' cosmic storylines.
Yeah.
As far as the creation of characters and everything. Because obviously, DC is going to it's going to always be that the one that always thinks that the normal audience or casual audience is going to assume is ripping off Marvel, when it's not the case. It's just poor decision making and failed leadership on Warner Brothers' side. And I really think if they take the concept that Darkseid's on his way and they just let that just be in the background.
Yeah.
And kind of shed some light on it here and there. Maybe have a moment where perhaps at the end of a Green Lantern film, there's somewhere on a planet in a certain quadrant, and Darkseid's army's rolling up, and you're just like, oh shit! Like it doesn't even have to be a point of the film. It could be either another credit scene, or it could be part of the final act where the day is saved, but the planet gets annihilated by Darkseid, and the Lantern gets out, just at the nick of time to be like, I've got to go fucking alert the others. So
Yeah.
I mean, it could go a million different directions, but I think regardless of that direction, James Gunn will be able to steer it relatively easily.
Better than that dude was before.
Yeah, for
that
real,
guy that was
right.
like, we don't want to do no more.
Yeah.
We did it. We're moving on. We didn't think it would work.
Well,
Yeah.
it's one thing to make money. It's another thing to make money in a great product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, and I mean, with Gunn's work with the Guardians of the Galaxy films, his hand in the Infinity War Endgame cosmic aspects of those films, I think converting over to DC with Suicide Squad and with Peacemaker, I mean, it kind of just tells it itself. He's got the experience. I feel like choosing him from a Warner Brothers decision making point of view seems like the right thing. You want someone that's already aware of the properties, who's already aware of the process to pull this off, to see how it works amongst the writing staff and everything. At least they have someone who's not going in that's a fish out of water.
Yeah. One of my questions is, it was what, 2, maybe 3 weeks ago when they went back to do Flash reshoots, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're just now announcing that Gunn is coming on board. This has probably been happened for quite a while.
Around that time was when people were like, he's working on a secret DC thing. It was the same week where they were talking about Flash reshoots.
Yeah. So I wonder if they're the ones that's like, look, we got to go. We got to do Flash reshoots. Let's not end this the way that they were wanting to. You know what I mean? Like, let's dial it back a little bit and redo it just a hair.
And I think one of the things that has me the most excited with James Gunn having this new position now is not just some of the classic characters and stories that we're going to obviously be expecting going forward, but it's going to be all of the left field moves that he does.
Yeah.
That's going to enrich these stories. That's not just going to be DC's version of a Marvel story.
Yeah.
I mean, we can sit there, we can sit and split the hairs over the differences between DC and Marvel, but that would be an insult to the listener's intelligence. Like that argument's already been made. There's a million hours of people discussing that.
Yeah.
And so, I think Gunn will be able to finesse some cool shit in there and make it work in a way that will not only make casual fans of DC Comics happy, but it'll make, it's going to have callbacks. It's going to have people who are just like, that's their thing,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you've got the kids and the guys who, the people out there who they subscribe to the whole DC catalog or, a very large portion of it. So, I mean, they've got their thumb on the pulse.
Yeah.
And it's going to be cool that we're going to have maybe some more obscure characters get more spotlight.
Yeah, that's what I was fixing to say. I mean, look at what he did with Peacemaker. Some B-rate character that a lot of people haven't heard of, and the people that have is like, how are they going to make this make sense? And it's like,
now he's a household name.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you cast John Cena and let him be charismatic as fuck and lean into the whole USA.
It was
fucking
so good. Did they even make the villain a racist?
Yeah.
Dad. And it was like, and it didn't bother everybody. Everybody was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But he kicked his ass,
Well, because whether people want to admit it or not, we all have that family member.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Everyone. It doesn't matter who you are. Black, white, red, green. You've got a member of your family that has those sentiments, for good or bad.
Uncle build that wall,
But I mean, even before the DC properties, we're talking about a guy that made us care about a tree and an arsonist raccoon.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I mean, dude, I mean, It might be a one trick, but damn it, that's a hell of a trick.
Yeah. Well, I think that Gunn has this eye for characters that, and also to associate specific actors or voices to these characters to make them relatable and to make them something that is like interesting and different, because you're not going to see Batman, Superman, Iron Man, insert Spider-Man, insert popular characters act this way. But you can take an obscure character and you can cast John Cena and you can have that. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, like here we go. You know, this is
Well,
everything that I didn't know that I needed that I know.
Yeah.
You know, like
Can't wait
well,
for the next
some-
season.
well, something I think is going to be awesome moving forward with Superman, if we want to, move to the more triple A characters on the roster. Last time we saw Superman on screen actually doing something was in the Snyder Cut, and if I recall correctly, when he revives and gets his black suit and goes to fight Steppenwolf, I don't know if y'all picked up on it. I certainly did. Superman and Steppenwolf fighting was like watching a cat play with a ball of yarn. Like Superman, it was nothing to him.
yeah,
Nothing. He treated that dude like a rag doll.
Dana Bonaducci.
And so what I'm saying is that, like, and there's tons of people out there that make the argument about the idea that when we have Superman, we have to depower him in some shape or form, and that if he's overpowering and can't be stopped, then it ruins the stakes of it. And it's like, that's not the case, man.
Yeah.
There's plenty of characters out there you can go toe to toe with Superman, because it is not the sheer brute force of Superman that's incredible. It's the level of discipline and restraint he has to have. And it's something that gets brought front and present, even though it wasn't Superman, it applies to him as well. It's when we get that bit of Cyborg listening to those tapes from his father, and his father's breaking down his abilities to him. He's like, man, if you don't keep your thoughts in check, you could detonate all the nukes on the
Yeah.
planet, or you could default all the banks if your mind runs rampant. Like you are plugged in to the world, and you have to be able to control that ability and hold restraint. Otherwise, shit's gonna fall to pieces. And the same way with Superman, he can't hit too hard because he's not gonna kill, because he has morals. Well, I'm hoping with some of these next outings, we have characters, and maybe even maybe with the arrival of Darkseid at some point later on. Because just because Snyder was using that idea, that doesn't mean that it's abandoned with it. And I know I've already brought it up
Oh.
earlier, but it can
Might need to show back
absolutely.
up, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's on his way. And then the
There ain't no
DC
bad
continuity, and the DC continuity right now, all this shit's going on Earth. Darkseid's heading to Earth.
Yeah.
And I think to abandon that plot line is just silly.
Blasphemy.
Well, not only in terms of story, but in terms of just a business model. You already have a tent pole, a goalpost set for your films. If you're going to be making several films within the next 10 years, having a light at the end of that tunnel is going to help pave that story so much easier, regardless of whatever creative input the filmmakers and future actors or whatever, how they approach it. They can still do that. There's still room to breathe. There's still parameters, and they're loose, and that's perfect for. I think that's a perfect like melting pot for some sort of passionate filmmaker to get in there and do something great with the stuff that's available.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited, man.
Yeah.
But on the heels of this, real quick. So, of course, Ezra Miller is getting the boot, right? I mean, we've talked about this quite a bit, and after Flash comes out, then Ezra Miller's probably not going to be playing Barry Allen any longer. But they're talking about casting George McKay to play Barry Allen. And George McKay was the guy from
The guy,
1917.
the guy who hauled ass during No Man's Land.
Yeah.
I
And
mean, I'd be down.
Yeah,
I'm
if you can
for it,
pull that
dude.
off.
Yeah.
That guy, yeah, 1917. Man, what a movie, right?
Yeah, what a
Yeah.
crazy
Um,
ride.
I
Yeah.
mean, a fantastic war film.
Yeah.
I would say just because he went, because the creative trick that made that movie work for me at least was the movie set up, and they're like, "Hey, your brother's at the front line. You need to go there and warn him, call off the attack." What we assume as the audience is the main character, he's killed within the first 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And the supporting actor picks up the lead like a soldier would in a battle, which was almost which is meta as fuck. Picks up the movie, not only in terms of story, but as the actor, and carries this motherfucker to the end. And completely won me over by the end of the movie. Like, I was rooting for this guy the whole way through. Like, everything from the flare sequence at night where he's running and it's pitch black and then the flares would shoot and you'd see a little bit, like all of that stuff. Like, this is never mind, guys. Let's just review 1917 again. This movie's so goddamn good. No, but for real, I think he'd make a great Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all the movie news that I saw. There's some good stuff coming through, man. It's good to see some positive DC information because,
Oh,
like, with Zaslav and all this stuff, it's like we really didn't know what was going to happen. And
before we do move on from DC for the night, do want to make mention Henry Cavill has made a video post, whatever you want to call it, where he's come out and yes, he's to go with all the articles we've had, we do have visual confirmation that Cavill is Superman. So
yeah,
whichever film we see him next, it's gonna be our boy.
he's like the Superman,
I mean, dude, we grew up on the Christopher Reeves films. The other iterations of Superman came and went. They all have their moments. They're all great. But for us, we grew up with Christopher Reeves. That was Superman, and I think that was a lot of people's Superman.
I want to see.
But I've done a hard pivot.
I want to see dude play in the fight himself in the fucking junkyard. Henry Cavill,
Oh
he
my
goes out
God.
there. It's him and Clark Kent,
Oh my God.
But,
Wouldn't that be a cool
Cavill,
callback?
absolutely. But I mean, I don't know about you guys, but for me though, Cavill is he's my Superman now. He's my Clark Kent.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
badass.
He checks all the boxes, dude.
He finished the survey for crying out loud.
Did.
I mean,
So what in the Book of Revelation is this trailer, Adam?
I don't know. There wasn't a
what
lot
the book?
to pick from.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying. I say that it looks biblical. I mean, the thumbnail does at least, or it's it's like a live action movie interpretation of Amish Paradise by Weird Al.
Oh yeah, Weird Al.
Tonight we're gonna
Coolio
party
died
like it's
recently. That's sad.
I know, right?
R.I.P. Coolio.
R.I.P. that fucking Keenan and Kel theme.
He kept it real.
Oh, here you go.
All right, y'all ready for this trailer?
Yeah, I miss old Nickelodeon, by the way. Anyway.
We all do, Trav. I'm ready, though.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play.
CGI water.
1899. I don't know if this is. Oh, Conor McGregor.
Is it the Lusitania?
But it's hot in that room.
Oh shit!
Awful foggy out there.
Is there zombies on it?
It's an OG ghost ship.
It's gonna have that one crazy guy. Oh, what's that thing?
Oh,
All right, y'all ain't talking shit no more. What was that thing?
It was the box, dude, from Hellraiser.
it's a cool remix. I'll just some coherent shit where it's like it's the same ship as them. It's just what a cool way to interpret all along the watchtower. Like they're stuck out in the fucking sea. Those symbols make me think of that movie we watched years ago called The Void.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only thing this is missing is some mud vein, dude.
Damn, that's a long trailer. They're showing there's a lot going on in that show. Look at that. What? I mean, it had to be like a dream or something.
Oh, do they go to the Bermuda Triangle?
Oh,
I'm not sure.
I bet it's a Bermuda Triangle movie.
I want to peep that. They got real lost if they wound up there.
yeah.
Dude, I don't know how many times y'all have ever listened to Hendrix on like a damn good sound system, like a theater sound system.
Mm-hmm.
But that sequence in Watchmen,
Yeah.
where it's playing the Watchtower as they're going to confront Ozymandias.
Yeah.
That shit thumped so hard in the theater. It was like 2 in the fucking morning when I went and watched it, and was like, this shit's fucking slapping, dude. It's doing something for me, you know?
I like a little Hendrix from time to time.
I mean, yeah.
I
I don't sit and just, I don't plug in and listen to the whole damn record, but like, that's a good fucking song, though.
mean, Access Bowls Love is pretty good. But anyway, a man called Otto. Oh, it's got our boy in it.
The Colonel.
It was at that moment.
We knew he was a man called Otto. All right. 3, 2, 1, play. He's gonna be a grumpy old dude. Oh, it's on your newspaper.
No.
Oh,
I don't think I'll be able to watch this movie, not because it looks bad, but because it makes me think of people that like is no, dude. There's too much.
are they gonna hook him up with somebody like Grumpy Old Man? At least hook him up with somebody. Oh, he's gonna start hanging out with a young chick. He plays a good grumpy guy.
Yeah.
He's gonna die by the end.
Yeah, that'd be the fucked ending, wasn't it? Like,
That's what's gonna happen probably. He's gonna have a change of heart and
leaves
he's
all
gonna
his money
get
to them.
sick. Yeah.
I like those fucking traveling Wilburys.
Like the director or the author that this was based off was like, let's make the most poignant fucking thing in the world.
I mean, if Robin Williams was alive, he would be the one playing him, you know?
Yeah. Oh, dude, man,
you know, those kind of sad movies.
You drove that nail with one hit with that, man.
Yeah.
Like this, this should be a Williams movie. I miss the fuck out of that guy.
Right.
This might be a documentary.
It's in black and white.
I don't know if it's.
Here's my thing. I don't know what to think about Jonah Hill. I get some of his stuff he's come out and said. I get it. Kind of applaud him for it. Like, fuck doing press releases. I'll just release the work and I'm done. But it's hard for me to gauge whether he's being pompous. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I heard a podcast with him and he sounded kind of, but a little uppity. But he got made fun of a lot when he first got in there. You know, they were always like, "You're the fat one." He's like, "I was the fat one for fucking ever." You know?
Yeah.
He's like, everybody with that shit. Like,
I need a fat guy. Call Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. Let's check it out.
I don't know if this is some kind of. We'll see. 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, see. And Netflix just handing movies out, you know?
Yeah.
Oh. He's a healer. So he's making a movie about his shrink.
Yeah.
He does look happy.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. I have no idea. It's to the film. Look at him. See, he talks about it. On that podcast, he had a hard time with that.
Oh, I'm sure.
So you know, you look on TV and everybody's fucking making fun of you. You're out there trying to hook up with chicks. You know, but you're the joke. Oh, this is definitely a documentary, not a film.
Looks interesting.
Needs to say a documentary by.
Yeah, right.
Jonah Hill, and he's wearing that. He's dressed like dude from the Mighty Boosh.
The
sunglasses, the hat.
Jesus Revelation. Is this Jake Gyllenhaal?
I don't know. Doesn't say in the.
Kind of looks like him to me, to be honest with you.
It's the eyes.
Yeah. The I know when the world's going to end and you don't believe me eyes.
Yeah.
No.
Them Gyllenhaal eyes.
No fucking pun intended, I guess.
Yeah, right.
But anyway.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play.
That mix.
Yeah.
I can hear the fingers on those strings, dude. Although I think more of like the Power Rangers skating around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good God, Niles. What, he's a preacher?
That motherfucker looking off into nothing. That was great.
I saw
Mm.
people looking for acid, and I'm the man. You know.
You lost me with Pink Floyd, man.
Paul Giamatti. It ain't Jake Gyllenhaal.
No, far
But
from it. I'm sorry.
like
My eyes deceived me.
it sounds like dude's Joker. They got canceled from Suicide Squad.
Oh God. It's a party house.
Yeah, it's a movie. There's too many people in that church.
They were turning their house into one of those places where like it's cool to go hang out at, but after
Yeah.
10 o'clock shit starts getting a little weird.
Yeah, well, the acid kicks in, you know?
Yeah.
You want to talk about Jesus, man? Like, no.
Like that's
really
when all
don't.
the mating rituals start to commence. Like all the people are like, all right, anyone who doesn't want to fuck have left. Time for me to work.
The last thing I'd want to do on
No.
LSD is talk about Jesus.
No, dude.
Freak
You'll
me
find
out.
them. You'll find them and you'll be
Yeah.
fucked forever
Never come back.
because your brain tricked you.
Like, damn, that was some good
Anyway.
acid, dude. It fucked him up for the rest of his life.
Oh man, I thought there was something like a heaven for a minute there.
That's some good shit.
Sam and Kate.
Dustin Hoffman. Hadn't seen him in a while. It's rated
Yeah.
R. Let's see
Let's see what he's been up to. Yeah.
3, 2, 1, play. Who the fuck is Kate? I'm thinking he's Sam.
Sam and Kate plus 8.
Okay, so
I was thinking that
discount to
too.
Leah. Yeah. Oops.
Motherfucker working at Ollie's.
I ain't tall enough. Oh, here we go.
It's kind of a crime that we haven't seen Hoffman in as much stuff lately. Because those Fokker movies
He's so
don't
good.
count,
Meet
in
the
my
Fockers,
opinion.
dude.
He's
Oh,
good, but dude, he is.
those movies are funny though.
They are. I'm not bashing them, but
I got my eye on you, Grant.
let's face it, that De Niro steals the show in those
Yeah.
movies.
He did.
I love that he was the loose fucking liberal father though. Like Hoffman nailed that.
I'm trying to figure out how this movie turned into, like, how's this rated R? Ain't nothing rated R about this.
Probably just a lot of. There's probably just a lot of F-bombs in it.
Probably. Oh yeah. Yeah, really.
Smoking a stogie.
She's banging Bill. Yeah. I'd like to hang out with Bill.
Yeah,
You
right.
want to get some, go to the bar, get a couple of beers, like.
Man, you probably don't even have to wait. You probably don't even have to wait with Bill. He probably brings his weed out of a bag that he brought with him.
No, he's got like a dugout.
Yeah,
He carries around a little
or like
dugout.
you don't even have to think. Yeah, you don't have to think about illicit stuff. Like he probably already has a cooler full of beer.
Yeah.
He's probably like, man, go help yourself. I got Yunglin or some
He's
IPA shit.
You can hit it. Let me know when you want to hit it, because I ate 500 milligrams of THC, so I'm gonna be good for a while.
Yeah, like he's
prepared.
It's there if you want it. He's good. Like
Let's Bill.
We just made Dustin Hoffman way cooler than he probably is in this
I might
film.
watch that now. You know.
Oh, yeah. Echo 3. We got a studio console with a wedding ring.
That's why I dropped. I saw this right here. I was like, I'm dropping it. Probably has nothing to do with it. You know.
Yeah.
But it's a
Let's
movie
see
on
what it be.
Apple. 3, 2, 1, play. Podcasting meta.
If you can hear me, I'm in the year 22.
The quality looks really good.
Is that Lawrence?
All right. Ooh, Hurt Locker. That's
Not
Patty
Lawrence.
Jenkins, right?
It's from the writer. I don't know if
was it
Jenkins
Roberta
wrote it
Lee?
though.
I think she just directed. I don't know though. Does it say down here? I mean, it's one of those movies.
Yeah.
Bring the briefcase back with you this time.
All right.
Looked expensive.
Yeah.
Looks like she's gonna get tortured for the whole film while her homies are on the way and they're gonna show up and show the fuck out on them.
I put that in that 24 category.
Yeah.
Remember 24 motherfuckers? If that was still on, it would still be a hit show.
Jack Bauer's gonna find that goddamn bomb in 24 hours.
It's just him running around.
Yeah. Almost. Every time I watched it, he was on the phone with somebody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was always like, I need
I
need
don't
2
have a lot
large
of time.
I'm telling you, I need 3 large Zaz delivered to the ball field by 6:30.
Yeah.
I'm like, I already live that. I don't need to watch it.
Yeah.
I haven't watched this holiday special trailer.
I don't even know if it's.
Me,
I'm guessing it's real because it's uploaded by Marvel.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. 3, 2, 1, play. Okay. Yeah, you do. Is that how he gets his next volume of music?
Yeah.
I bet you it is.
I mean, it's got to be, right? Volume 3.
I think you fucking called it, dude.
Oh. Oh, God.
Man, this is a Christmas special, dude.
Yeah, right.
No rules.
I dig it.
Can't wait to see it.
Kevin Bacon's played himself. Okay.
Yeah, that looks like something I'm gonna need around that time of year. Take my mind off shit.
Yeah. That looks good.
I wish this was coming out.
Oh,
we got like
God,
3 more years,
guys.
Right?
Guys, like, can we just take a moment and say that the Ant-Man trilogy is arguably the most underrated trilogy in the MCU.
I mean, I would agree with that.
I know this is just the trailer, and
Yeah.
this movie could be a total flop. I get it. But
I don't know how it's
Yeah.
gonna flop.
I don't know. I
You
don't
have to
either,
fuck
dude.
up really badly. Like,
This is 2 minutes and 19 seconds of fucking mwah, I'm doing the
Yeah.
Italian fucking
you know,
perfection.
Perfecto.
Like, give it to me, Hector. Like, yeah, let's roll this beautiful Quantum Mania footage.
all right, 3, 2, 1, play. I wish I could show the trailer.
I love it, dude. Ant-Man is the average Joe, dude.
Oh yeah.
Do what Catwoman says. I love it. Weird science. Dude. Can we say best Elton John remix
Oh yeah.
ever? I hope your eyes are hungry, motherfuckers, because this is bringing all the candy. Oh, man.
Well, she's been there before. Oh yeah, she was down there for a while, right?
A
Remember?
long
For like
fucking
50
time.
years,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's right.
She probably saw what could happen and left well enough alone, though. That's what I'm gonna think. Paul Rudd deserved something this large of scale for him, dude.
Yeah.
I love that they don't give you the full look.
Yeah, but you could see the reflection.
Yeah, you could see it there.
Man.
So, once
Ooh.
again, guys, that kid shit, dude. I think there's something to it. Also, I'm calling it now. Ant-Man or Wasp, they're fucking dying in this movie, dude. Kane's gonna
Yeah.
kill one of them motherfuckers.
Well, here's this is the question that I brought up. I think it was last night or whenever. Well, he was trapped in the quantum realm for 5 years, and it was like 15 minutes for him. So, what does that mean? If they get sucked into the quantum realm and they're trying to get out, and they're down there for let's conceivably say 2.5 hours, the runtime of the movie. How much time is going to be passed when they come out?
Dude, what if like 30 years have passed?
Yeah.
Like they
Like,
come out and it's like, here's something that I was wondering. Like if they don't kill anyone or whatever, what if we get a situation? Because like if you remember, Ant-Man has played a critical role. Like he's that character that comes in clutch with certain things.
yes.
Like he came in clutch with like, okay, we can go to the quantum realm to pull off the time heist to get, for Infinity War. Like the whole basis of how Endgame was able to happen was based off of what Ant-Man was able to experience.
Mhm.
That being said, what if because I think that would be the best thing to like homage to Scott Lang and Hank Pym would be that even though Tony Stark was the brains of the MCU, Ant-Man was originally the OG genius. Like, now granted, I am talking about Hank Pym, but
He was still Ant-Man.
yeah. But anyhow, what if this builds up to where Ant-Man meets up with 2012 Loki, and at some point Ant-Man finally comes into the fray during the Kang Dynasty and is like, "Look, man, say 2012 Loki shows up, and everyone's like, what the fuck, you're dead,' and all this kind of stuff. Ant-Man comes in and is like, look, man, we've been killing the same fucking dude over and over and over. And what if, like Ant-Man and Loki have a part to play in the creation of that place at the end of time where he who remains stays?
Yeah.
Like, what if in a weird timey-wimey way, like Ant-Man and Loki set up the prison that the Avengers are going to ultimately banish Kang to? Because I still think the ending of Loki season 1 is exactly going to be one of the last shots we see in the Kang storyline.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's so much going on in these fucking Marvel films that they're not going to have, like, critical plot points like that and just have it thrown to the side. Like, there's a reason they made Kang say all that shit in Loki.
Yeah.
During his big introduction. And I wouldn't be surprised if, like, because I do feel like, just like He Who Remains says, like, whatever happens, I'm going to end up back in this room. And I feel like they'll do it to keep it cyclical, to keep it more digestible, as opposed to going too like, they're going to obviously play whack-a-mole with him, but I don't think it's going to. They're going to keep it reasonable, I guess.
Right.
But back to the kid thing, though, I truly think they're setting up all this kid stuff to pose the concept of whether or not they kill Kang as a child, and that's a big. I feel like that's going to be a major plot point of the Kang Dynasty, because the way I'm taking all this shit and building all these theories off face value bullshit, and it's probably wrong, but that's the fun part of this stuff. Speculation. And to me, dynasty implies family, generational heritage.
Mm-hmm.
And what we've been getting for the past year is this whole passing of the torch phase, and everyone's so fucking sick of it. But I think it's a subversive way to go, yeah, we are passing the torch in some certain respects, but what we're doing is we're setting up to where, like, what if in the Kang Dynasty we get a moment where on screen we're looking at it, and whether they come out and say it or not, the audience and comic book fans go, dude, it's the fucking Young Avengers, bro. And Kang just shows up and wipes them the fuck out, dude.
Right.
Like, they're an example of the uniqueness of the Avengers situation. Like, not just any cluster of heroes can just get together and make it work. And it's not because the heroes have disagreements, but it's just because, like, it's that tad bit of something else that comes in favor of Kang, and he's able to beat them. They're inexperienced or whatever, many different ways you could write the shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited, man.
It looks so good. And, like, I'm super interested in what they're doing with Black Panther, and now we've got Ant-Man. It's like, it finally feels like we're getting past that weird
We're getting to
middle,
the meat and bones.
yeah, that weird middle phase stuff that was happening with Spider-Man. And don't
Filler.
get me wrong, yeah, I like Spider-Man. I like Doctor Strange. I
We
liked all
needed
that.
that. We needed those phase. We needed that little era to come down off of Endgame.
Yeah,
But like you said, I'm glad we're kind of getting past it. The multiverse is going to be a thing for a while still, but I do think the multiverse is going to get resolved in Kang Dynasty, but the consequences of that is going to bleed into Secret Wars.
yeah,
And I think where we're going to have a section of heroes dealing with Kang and the sciency multiversal plot of the story, but we're also going to be set, like, we're going to get two different villains building up. We're getting Kane, that's already well underway. And I honestly think in Black Panther 2, I do think that we're going to get our Doctor Doom appearance. And it's going to be something as simple as something like at the end of Avengers, the army that, shows up that Wakanda and Atlantis are going to be at odds the first half of the film. They're going to bury the hatchet when another group shows up. They're going to fight them off, have their little battle of New York, but in Wakanda. And we're going to find out that those people were sent in by Doom.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised if that's something that they go by at all.
Right.
Which is fine by me, because I don't know about y'all, but my body's ready for some Dr. Doom. Ready for some Dr. Doom.
Yeah, I'm ready for all of it, dude.
I'm ready for a actual faithful interpretation of Dr. Doom, and because we're at the point now where you can make a mustache twirling, I'll get you next time villain. Like, we're ready for that. Granted, some could probably argue that it should have been Thanos, but I'm fine with Doom as well. Doom's is equally with it. Doom's one of the oldest villains.
Yeah.
So, I mean, lay it on, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
I'm positive on it.
Yeah, right. I'm going to go to the movies and watch it for sure.
I'd like to go see Ant-Man in theaters as well.
Yeah.
And I hope to God they use that Elton John song again, because I want to hear that on those theater speakers.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know I think it's Warner Brothers. It's got to be. But whoever was like, you know what, man? Let's take all these classic hits and let's let these young fuckers just remix the shit out of it. Let them do it, because they're killing it in that department. Some of these covers and renditions are fucking awesome.
Yeah. Something in the way.
The whole and it's becoming a trope to take a popular song, add a few fucking orchestral string sections to it, slap it on there, and call it a movie song, But yeah, like, I mean, you guys were just singing it, man. The way they utilized Nirvana for the Batman, completely left field, completely the right way to set the tone for that film. I had that song in the back of my head the whole fucking time I was watching that film.
Yeah.
Even like the shot where they're actually using the song in the film, and Bruce Wayne's on the bike and the camera's strapped to the wheel, so you're just seeing his feet, but he's hauling ass down the road. I love that shot. Love the whole sequence, because that's playing when he's doing the whole, I've only been doing this shit for so long. We fucking got a signal finally. I don't know if I can fucking pull it off, but they don't know I'm weak, and that's all I need right now.
Yeah.
I'm ready for some Batman 2 news. I hope Matt Reeves can drop something soon.
Oh, he's working on something.
Because I would love for James Gunn to sit him down and go, hey man, tell the story you want to tell. But always know that Robert Pattinson will become Ben Affleck. Because I would like to look at it as these Batman films are clearly taking place in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to see it be a situation where we see Batman get his confidence in himself, that he knows he can stop these people and everything. Because in this film, we get that little level of doubt that he has. He's still very inexperienced. But I want it to be almost like they treated Superman, in that we build up for a couple of films where we have the confident Batman. We have the one who's tactical, resourceful. He's the detective. He can fucking whoop ass, take names, and run out of ink in the process. But we culminate to a point where he does lose faith in Gotham. And then when it ends on that note, we get it. Like, well, not we get it, but the casual moviegoer could go back and say, watch Batman versus Superman, and they see what's going on. And they're like, I get it now. I get Ben Affleck's approach to the character.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, I feel like that it's not necessary, but in terms of, giving us a nice overarching connectivity, whatever shared universe bullshit, I think that would work.
Yeah.
See no reason why it couldn't. But even if they don't do that at all, and it's just Matt Reeves' Batman verse, I'm cool with it too, man. The guy made a good movie. Down for more.
Yeah. DT Dub.
Are y'all down to
Speaking of
watch
that,
Pearl?
yeah, that's what I was going to say. What are we going to watch
Is this the prequel to X?
It is.
That bitch is ugly as shit, but I'm down to watch. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry, man. I know I'm no fucking work of art, dude, but that's something I noticed all throughout watching X, and I didn't bring up on the pod, dude. That bitch is ugly as shit.
Yeah.
And it's not that she is ugly, and like she's a very attractive woman. Let me clarify here. She's an attractive woman and a female lead. But the faces she has to make to convey emotions in that film is goofy and ugly as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, like for instance, we all look ugly as shit when we cry. Like real cry, like fucking snot running. Yeah,
ugly
like
cry.
Rainn Wilson said it the best in that fucking movie he did. He's like, why do people look so fucking ugly when they cry?
Because it hurts.
Yeah. And all throughout this fucking movie, man, there would be moments where I'm just like, God damn, dude had an ugly face. Jesus, look at that grill. But yeah, I'm down to watch Onyx. I mean, Pearl. I mean, X2 or X0 or that movie.
Hell yeah.
When are you gonna come down?
Checks on the mail.